All right, welcome in-game live. We are PrimeTime here on this final day of February, not to be confused with March 1st, but rather leap year, February the 29th. And we've got plenty going on here across the sports landscape as plenty of college hoops going on, a lot of NHL. We got plenty of NBA action with some games already started, whole lot getting ready to kick off here, including a couple of games we're going to be extremely interested in as we welcome in our one and only the man behind the man behind a man who's apparently backing the Seattle Mariners now. Dave Sharapan's in the house, and it would just be a matter of time before Taylor made complete fun of him for wearing that hat and not busting out his Chicago Cubs stuff, but that's a whole different scenario there. We do have some baseball to dive into coming up as well here on In-Game Live. But Taylor, Dave, welcome in. And Taylor, I want to start with you because I know you got a same-game parlay coming up in a game involving, I'm throwing a lot of people, and if I hear one more person tell me how OKC is just winning it all, I got to pump the brakes here. Like, I love OKC, but can we stop crowning them kings of the West and eventual champions here? Although anything, I guess, is possible, but they got to get past, I believe, the Spurs here tonight. What do you got rolling for us here?
I'm not going to say yet, Joe, that I think I'm all in on OKC to win it, but I do love what I'm seeing out of OKC recently. Tonight, I'm going to go with Thunder shooting guard Josh Giddey over his points total 9.5 and over his boards at 5.5. The Thunder have created this youth movement in Oklahoma City, and it's finally coming to fruition. And Giddey's a huge part of that success. Oklahoma City 41-17 straight up, winning 6 straight games. And they're just a half game back in the West behind the Timberwolves. They're just on the right track right now. Giddey's averaging 11 points a game and 6 rebounds and went over on both of these lines earlier this season against the Spurs. Giddey's hit this over and scoring 60% of the time through his last 10 games and 50% of the time on the glass. The Spurs are bottom of the league in nearly every defensive category that exists, and they aren't stopping Giddey or the Thunder tonight. I'm going with Giddey over 9.5 total points, over 5.5 rebounds. And for that same game parlay, if you want to add it in, I like the Thunder to cover tonight, -11. Comes out to a little bit, probably north of plus 400 when I got it earlier this morning. But OKC beat San Antonio twice this season by double digits. I don't see why they can't do it again tonight.
Dave, I'm not sure if I've ever seen you in any OKC gear. Do we have OKC gear? Because I don't know when you would have busted it out. Do we have any Oklahoma City Thunder gear?
I do. Had I actually got the memo, I would have worn that hat today because I couldn't find my Kraken hat. Yeah, because Penguins are playing the Kraken today, and I just couldn't find the Kraken hat to match the jacket and all this other stuff. So I wore the Mariner hat. I apologize. But I do have a Thunder hat, and it's a funny story. Yeah, it was $1. It was $1 at the store. It was on a table. I got it a year ago when it was $1. Nobody wanted it, just like the team. And now everybody wants it. Yeah.
That is just
a lot of the
fantastic.
hats, they come about in weird, strange ways. I got a Thunder hat. I got a Rockets hat. I got a Spurs hat. All of those existed before their current iterations. So, yes, I do. Next time when we do the show together, Joe, I will wear the Thunder hat.
You have to.
Taylor said that was right. They're going to crush them tonight. Yeah, they're going to crush them. Come on.
Hey, listen, I hope so here because I thought pretty much the Bucks would crush the Hornets again here, 62-47. With about 3 minutes to go in that one. The Magic holding on by a string here, 53-48 over the Utah Jazz. These games are just about rounding out, getting ready to go to the half. And the Brooklyn Nets taking on the Atlanta Hawks, and it's been 20-12 Brooklyn, all Brooklyn in this one. And the same thing in New York, 31-19 right now, Dave. Golden State has opened up a can of you-know-what on the New York Knicks here. Did not see that happen. But good news is Chris Paul and his AARP card are back on the court for Golden State here tonight.
And you can get discounts on that anywhere you go.
Yes.
Actually, I just
$1
got that in the
hats.
mail myself. Yeah,
That's
listen,
right.
you can find $1 hats. I just got that AARP in the mail myself, and I thought it was a little early, but apparently it's 52. They send it to you. I'm like, oh, I'm in. So I'll be getting the senior discount for the coffee. I don't even drink coffee. Anyhow, it was a discount today on the Warriors. Joe, the Knicks are not the Knicks without Brunson.
No.
Brunson out. They're a mess. They got crushed the other night. The Pelicans were laying, in the morning, it was 3. When we came on to do the show on InGame Live Primetime, it was 6.5. And the Pels won by 15. Same thing happened today. Golden State this morning, you wake up, it's 2.5, 3. By game time, by tip, the closing number was, it went back down to 3.5. I saw as high as 5. So it actually went back down. So maybe the books got the money on the Knicks at 5. Good luck with that tonight. I think they're in trouble. I think the Knicks are in trouble. So if you're on Golden State, I prefer that. Taylor, you got any props in that game?
I don't have any props in that game. I did look at Steph Curry's rebounds over total, and I should have taken it because he already has 7 right now in the first quarter. But I didn't
look at
take
that
it.
line. 11, 7, and 1 in the first quarter. I mean, I don't know what his PRA number was, but it's already, you're well on your way if you took that number.
We're on our way to hitting it for sure.
Unbelievable here. And they're still bringing Klay Thompson off the bench, which I think is a good move. But again, Wiggins has got, how many baby mamas does Wiggins have? That he's got to keep taking these mysterious, the whole thing where the baby mama was his best friend's kid. Nobody knew it, the whole 9, and he disappeared for 2 months. Yeah. And doing the same thing again. And the whole cloaked in secrecy thing is a little strange, Taylor, if you ask me, because here we go again. It's the same thing where they don't know how long he's going to be out, but they're behind him 100%. Like this, come on. You can't do that, man. TMZ is salivating at the mouth right now. I mean, how many more baby mama stories can there possibly be?
I think once you hit 2, that should be more than enough.
Yeah.
So now they're probably just trying to keep everything quiet. Keep it on the down low.
Now you're just showing off.
You don't need any more of that.
Now you're just showing off. Yeah, you can't. Never in the history of the game does dudes just take, I got to go away for a couple months. And everyone's like, no big deal. Take as much time as you want there, Wiggins. It's got to be ridiculous. Otherwise, why would they be so cool with him just walking away from the team again? It's kind of crazy. But you know what? Got Chris Paul back in his AARP and $1 hats back. So we'll be back. In-game live continues here on the grid. Looks good on you, though, Dave.
A great big that can block shots, a team that can play defense, and seniors that can put the ball in the hole. That's who you bet on. You don't bet on freshmen. You don't bet on teams that don't play defense. There you go.
I mean, you got to run the guy over to call a foul in a tie game in that kind of a spot. That was a bad job by those refs.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live. We are primetime here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan, alongside Taylor Mathis here, as we've got a handful of these early games at the break in the NBA right now, including actually a pretty good one in Orlando, the Magic 53, Jazz 51. The Bucks have dropped 70 on the Hornets already at the break, 70 to 51 there. The Nets out in front to here by at least a dozen or so here, 34 to 16 over the Trae Young-less Hawks, and the Knicks, a valiant little effort there, but they are still down 12, 38-26 Warriors in front. Again, getting ready for the Thunder Spurs, in which Taylor is heavily invested in a same-game parlay there. I know Taylor is also very invested in what happens with the Chicago Bears this year. And now that the Combine is underway and the draft will be here before we know it, and there's an awful lot of quarterbacks available in this draft, which leads a lot of Chicago Bears fans to think that maybe, just maybe, the Justin Fields era is over. But is it? We had Adam Kaplan joining our good friend Scotty Farrell, of course, on Coast to Coast today. Here's what he had to say about the whole Justin Fields drama.
The word around the league is a second-round pick, a good second-round pick, could probably get it done. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about the Falcons. Let me straighten something out here, and I'm not saying he's not going to go there. I know there's some odds makers who have made them the favorite. Zach Robinson, who's now their offensive coordinator, is calling plays for the first time in his career. He's worked with the Rams exclusively with two drop-back quarterbacks, Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. He's not worked with a guy like Justin Fields. It's not a great fit. They're running an old-school West Coast offense. So Justin Fields, to me, is a guy that needs a lot of coaching. We know how to, you and I have talked about this now for 3 years with this kid. Very, very gifted. No one's challenging his arm strength. He's got that. You know he can move, but he's not a precise passer. His problems, I'm told, closing games. He's not great in the fourth quarter. And look, beauty's United beholder. He needs a lot of coaching. And by the way, people are talking about the Raiders. Luke Getsy coached him for 2 years. That didn't go very well. Let's call it like it is. Very inconsistent. So there's no clear favorite right now, no matter what's out there. I still think they're going to find a suitor. In fact, by the way, Justin Fields is under contract here. The thing is, they need to move him because we know they're drafting a quarterback. The Bears know what they're doing. They're going to draft a quarterback. So the bottom line is they want to move Fields as soon as possible. But they're not, as Ryan Pohl said, their GM, they're not in a rush to do it. But I could tell you they're going to know who's interested here. This is why this is the way it works, Scott. You find out who wants in, and you develop those talks as we get closer to free agency.
All right. So the only problem I have there, Taylor, is that comment he made about the Bears know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You told me crazy, but he seemed pretty confident, like the Bears knew what they. I have doubts about the Bears knowing anything here. Is he leaving? I mean, is he leaving? As a Bears fan, are you convinced whatever's available is better than what you got?
Well, as a Chicago native, I love Justin Fields. I really like Justin Fields. So I actually disagree with a lot that he said. He was talking about how Justin Fields really needs to be coached. He's not a very precise passer. My argument to that is he's been working under the Chicago Bears organization, which is an absolute disaster. And any quarterback that has been under the Bears within the last, 8 to 10 seasons has not succeeded. So I don't really know if I think it's a Justin Fields problem as much as it's a Bears organization problem. I like Justin Fields to move on from the Bears. I think the Bears are a constant dumpster fire, and I like Justin Fields more than I like the Bears organization as a whole. I know a lot of people feel like the Falcons are the favorite. I feel the same way with the Falcons getting a new head coach in Raheem Morris. It's a fresh start for him as a quarterback. It's a fresh start with a new offense, new offensive coordinator, new coach. I think Fields deserves better than the Chicago Bears organization at this point.
Ooh. Dave, who are they drafting then? I mean, isn't the devil you know always better than the devil you don't? Because are we convinced Caleb Williams is what? Andrew Luck? Like, what's going on here? Is he can't miss? I don't know what they're thinking.
Andrew Luck, Joe. Yeah. I have no idea what they're thinking either. This is way above my pay grade. I am certainly not one to evaluate NFL personnel. As a fan, I think the Bears fans are ready to move on. I think a majority of them. I think I'm with Taylor. Like if I had
I think I disagree with you based on my Chicago Bears fans I know. A lot of them don't want to see Justin Fields go that I know personally. But
well, that's good. I think you're right. I would side with that because listen, when you have the turnover and constant like new guys calling plays and all this other stuff, it's hard to be successful. You know? I mean, if we had a new producer every single night, it would be tough to try to get chemistry and try to make things work. So continuity, there's something to be said for that. He has had none in anything he did. He was okay at Ohio State. Like, did we forget all of that? He hasn't had.
But I also, he's a leader in the locker room. Like the guys in the locker room love him. Correct? I mean, that's not it. Or you could have Mr. New York Jet for the time being, who really won over the locker room there. Good old Zach Wilson. Like Fields, they actually really liked him. Like he got the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. If they view him as a leader, you think Caleb Williams is going to replace him? Or maybe we're just all missing it and it's going to be Daniels is going to be the number one pick and we're all being fed a line here. But this much I know. If you are Kirk Cousins and you don't go to Minnesota, he will be as unemployed for about 30 seconds. Somebody signing Kirk Cousins and locking him up. You know, there just ain't enough quarterbacks. I don't know what to do with Russell Wilson except maybe just send him away and just hope he never finds his way back. What are they going to do, Dave, if you're Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos? It was a lot of money you had to invest. Are we cutting ties and saying, see you later, sooner rather than later here? And does anybody really want him?
Did you see what Sean Payton said? Like, it was so uncomfortable. I mean, like,
it was terrible.
This whole week is such an uncomfortable thing. I used to sit in the book and wonder, why are we even doing this? Like, why are we got guys running around in T-shirts and shorts? And how does this translate to Sundays? I don't know. But there's people that want to put odds on this stuff. We want to bet on 40 times and all this other, how high verticals are. I want to go on vacation. I don't want anything to do with this. So where is Russell Wilson going? I don't think he's going back to Denver. Unless
I don't see how he can.
Payton's leaving. I don't think that's going to work. Just saying.
Nope. I don't know anybody else that's going to jump up and I don't know anybody. They're talking Zach Wilson like, okay, you can seek a trade. And they're saying, well, it'd be great backup for the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City. Like, what? Like, what have you watched how this guy's just basically blown up locker rooms? Like, stop it. You don't want him anywhere near anything along those lines. But quite honestly, tell me, Joe Flacco on a couch in October, and he comes back and gets player of the year. So there's a quarterback issue in the NBA, and I guess if you have any experience whatsoever, or if you can throw the ball, there's probably a job for you this year somewhere.
I think Russell Wilson will end up back with somebody. If you look at where the Steelers, the Raiders, and the Patriots are in terms of the draft, there's just not enough quarterbacks in this draft. Somebody's going to need a veteran quarterback.
Send Russell Wilson to Pittsburgh, T. I don't want
yes.
I'm just saying.
It's a great call.
Don't you do it.
Great call. Yep. Great call.
No, this is a bad idea by both of you. No, we're good. No, it's not going to end well.
Listen, just raise your hand if you think Russell Wilson to Pittsburgh is a good idea. I'm just saying. We'll have more when we get back.
A great point guard, a great big that can block shots, a team that can play defense, and seniors that can put the ball in the hole. That's who you bet on. You don't bet on freshmen. You don't bet on teams that don't play defense. There you go.
I mean, you got to run the guy over to call a foul in a tie game in that kind of a spot. That was a bad job by those refs.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
right, we have all decided here at InGame Live Primetime that the Bears may know what they're doing, but it's probably Washington that will prove they have no clue what they're doing here. But still plenty of time here in the NFL, but a lot of question marks and a lot of quarterback rooms around with a lot of names floating around and a huge quarterback-heavy draft, which I think makes this the more intriguing draft here. Last time we had one, I think it was the Josh Allen draft, right? With we had a ton of quarterbacks go in that draft. I think there's going to be a ton. They're saying the first three could very well be quarterbacks in this draft. So if it's one thing we learned about the NFL is everyone needs a quarterback, and there's not that many of them. Plenty of NBA games going on right now, including the Knicks just getting absolutely destroyed here right now. 48-33, still 4 minutes to go here in that one. Most of the other games are getting ready to go to the break or getting ready for the third, but we do have a couple of games getting ready to get started here. Thunder, Spurs, and then, of course, Taylor, your Phoenix Suns getting ready at home to take on the This is a very strange thing because when I looked at the schedule, they're playing the Rockets like 3 times in like 3-4 days.
Yes.
Like, what is going on here? But they are
Very
home tonight,
weird.
so what do we do?
It is very weird. They're getting way too much going on, I guess, with Houston right now for them. But I'm looking to a prop. I'm going with Suns Kevin Durant over 6.5 rebounds tonight. Since joining Phoenix, Durant's always hit this over against Houston. He's had 10 and 11 boards this season in prior meetings. Tonight, Suns center Nurkic, he's probable to play with an ankle injury, but if he doesn't, the chance for Durant to grab more boards tonight at home is there for him. And he's hit this over in 6 out of his last 10 games. Houston's the 8th worst in the league at giving up rebounds. Gonna go with Durant over 6.5 boards tonight.
Should just say, by the way, I think Gordon and Beal have just been ruled out. So they're going to have to, no Bradley Beal tonight. It looks like they were hoping maybe Gordon or Beal, but it looks like they're going to have neither available. So that Kevin Durant prop, not a bad way to look. Somebody's got to get the points there, Dave. But, take your time, Bradley Beal. 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. I don't want you to hurt yourself anymore. So take your time.
That's a stall.
I'm feeling worried as a Suns fan.
Yeah.
I
think that was Paula Abdul, opposites attract.
No.
2 steps forward, 1 step back. You remember that song?
That was a Paula Abdul song.
Yes, opposites attract. There you go. I know you know it. Put it in the cheerleader routine.
This is awful.
That's a good song.
Terrible.
Listen, the Suns have been great at home. Yeah, the Suns have been good at home. Houston's terrible on the road. You'll get there with that prop. What about we got Mr. Miami here on the show trying to send Russell Wilson to Pittsburgh? Joe, don't think I didn't forget about that. If he goes to Pittsburgh, I'm going to be really mad at you. But Miami is playing at Denver tonight, and Denver at home lit up Sacramento last night. They're lighting everybody up. You got to have some gold here. There got to be some sort of prop or something that you like tonight in this game.
Ooh, I do. This is actually, it likely might be my favorite prop that I have. And I really like this one a lot. So I'm going to go with Heat center Bam Adebayo over 29.5 points plus rebounds. Adebayo has a tough task tonight dealing with Nikola Jokic in the paint, but Adebayo's proven that he can hold his own against anyone in this league. Last year's NBA Finals, when we last saw this matchup between the two of them, Bam averaged nearly 22 points a game and 12.5 rebounds a game. That was the second most in both categories, only behind Jokic. On top of that, he's had 23 plus points in 3 games since the All-Star break. He's a double-double machine and a crucial piece of the Miami team coming out of the break that's on fire right now, winning 3 games in a row. Give me Bam's over 29.5 points plus rebounds. And I actually would take the 5 points tonight with the Heat, too.
Oh, I mean, this was as high as, it was getting up there, 6.5. And I was like, wait a minute, can we all slow down here? Plus, it's the first time they've played since the finals last year. So, you always get that little added push there with the rested Miami team taking on the team that beat them in the finals. Jimmy Butler's not going to roll over here. But Tyler Hero is definitely out. So is Kevin Love. But it does look like Rozier and company are back in and available in this game here for the Miami Heat. It's always the next guy up anyway with the Miami Heat. Not so much with the Lakers. I don't know how LeBron James is not going to have an oxygen tank on the court tonight here, Taylor. That had to be the most unbelievable comeback I have seen in a long time, man, against the Clippers last night.
That was a good game.
Oh my! And it was all LeBron late. Like if it wasn't for him, they don't win that game. And I gotta go. Like, what has he got left in the tank here tonight in this one? Even against the Wizards. How are you looking at this one?
One thing I want to note before I get to this play: if you watch the prop market a lot, make sure you're checking LeBron James threes every single day because the market is not caught up with it right now. Yesterday, the line was at 1.5. When I checked, I think in the third quarter, he already had 5. Today, it was at 2.5.
Wow.
I didn't take it. Yes, because I think maybe the market's catching up a little bit, starting to notice LeBron's been really hot from beyond the arc since the All-Star break pretty much. But always look at that threes play for LeBron. But for tonight, I'm going to lay the 9.5 points with the Lakers. And I'm taking this play not really because the Lakers are great, but how terrible the Wizards are. They're really the worst team in the NBA at the moment. They've only won 2 games out of their last 20 overall, and they're riding a 12-game losing streak into tonight. Washington's biggest problem is poor defense. Tuesday against the Warriors, they allowed 21 triples and 21 fast break points. This is a very tricky game to look at, but there is no way that I'm going to back the lowly Wizards tonight, who are 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 games. I'm going to be all about the Lakers, even though they may be fatigued on this second leg of the back-to-back. But at least the Lakers don't have to travel. I'm going to lay the 9.5 points tonight.
I don't know. It looks like going to be a tough one here. Poor LeBron. I mean, the guy's no spring chicken here, Dave. He's not buying dollar hats. You know what I mean? He is definitely maybe playing. I think that's a great question.
Probable.
Yeah. It's unbelievable how last
week, always probable. He's always probable.
Yeah. That ankle was bothering LeBron last week, and he couldn't play. And then
he's not even on the list anymore, Dave.
Quarter comeback. It didn't look like any ankle problems there. So starting to wonder about the ankle. I think it's fine.
Wow.
But I don't know. It's one of those ones where the game's going to go over. There's going to be no defense. There's going to be fatigue. It's either really sloppy basketball and goes way under, or it flies over because it's sloppy. LeBron last night outscored the Clippers himself. That never happens. He scored more points himself than the Clippers.
Wow.
I learned enough forget about what I learned about the Lakers last night. Can either of you trust the Clippers going forward after that? Like, that one's going to leave a mark on my brain, T. I was thinking about the Clippers being in the Western Conference Finals against the Nuggets, being the second choice. And now I'm going, how did they blow that game? They're up 20 in the fourth quarter.
Well, they were without. How long is Paul George out till? I think a few more games, maybe. That's obviously a little blow to the roster.
They're worse defensively. That's the problem without him. And I'm willing to give her a break. I mean, they rattled off all those wins right after they got, Harden, and they put themselves in a spot. But if there's one thing we know about Kawhi and company is they don't care about the number 1 seed. They would just, hey, we're in, we're qualified, we're good. It's going to be interesting to see how much effort Denver puts in, I think, tonight against Miami, given the fact that it's an Eastern Conference team. It's not a Western Conference team. They are trailing, I think, Minnesota, right, by 2 games here for the number 1 seed. It feels if anybody, they want the number 1 seed. Like, if I'm Denver, I probably want to lock it up if I can. Makes more sense, right?
Yes.
The Thunder are only a half game back behind the Timberwolves right now.
See? Thunder.
Really?
Thunder.
So there you go. Wow.
Yeah, it's Timberwolves, Thunder, then the Nuggets.
So Denver's got something to play for down the stretch here. Makes total sense. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, is that a dollar price tag on that too? Look at that. Is that even the right logo? Is that even a right logo? Is that why it was $1? What is OJC? What is that? What kind of messed up hat do you got?
Hey,
they didn't even spell it right. Oh, this is ridiculous. No wonder why it was $1. It's not even the right color scheme.
Nobody
Unbelievable here.
This is when you buy these things, when nobody wants them. Nobody wanted OKC. I don't think anybody wants them now.
Everybody wants something.
Not everybody wants something. That's correct. Got to stay out in front there.
Think about this, though. Seriously, what team in the West? We just looked at those numbers. What team in the West doesn't anybody want right now? Look at that list, and what team is nobody really talking about or nobody really want on that list? Because that's probably one that we might be able to punch a ticket to the Western Conference Finals. Who is it, T? I see you looking. Who is it?
I might have to. I lean towards the Thunder. I do. I lean a little bit, thinking that I wouldn't want the Thunder in this moment right now with the way they're playing. I don't think I would want to get the Thunder.
Joe.
Listen, when is the last time we had a back-to-back NBA champion? Who was the last one?
Ooh.
Who's the last one that went back-to-back? Golden State. It has to be, right? 2013, maybe? 14, somewhere in there. We'll have to double-check that. It ain't easy. Come back and join us here. In-game live, primetime.
A great big that can block shots, a team that can play defense, and seniors that can put the ball in the hole. That's who you bet on. You don't bet on freshmen. You don't bet on teams that don't play defense. There you go.
I mean, you got to run the guy over to call a foul in a tie game in that kind of a spot. That was a bad job by those refs.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live. We are PrimeTime here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Taylor Mathis, Dave Sharapan. As the Knicks have made it to the break, they are down, believe it or not, 9. They fought back here. It's a 55-46 game at the break at the Garden. Knicks going to try to have a big third quarter. This is usually the point of the program in which the Warriors come out and put teams away, but we'll see if the Knicks have anything left in the tank there. And we were talking last segment there about when was the last time we've actually had back-to-back NBA champions, because, listen, the champion could very well come out of the West, and I know Celtics fans don't want to hear that, but it's for Denver to do it again. The last time was, what did we say, 17-18 with the Golden State Warriors. Prior to that, it was the Miami Heat in the early, 2010s, 2012, somewhere in that ball. It seems to happen like once a decade in the NBA, where you get that one run of back-to-back and then, that's it. What it tells me, Dave, is that good luck, Denver. Even though you got most of the same team back, it is just virtually, it is so hard to do when you got teams like OKC coming up, and you got the Clippers now who are, is it their time? And it is just impossible to do in the NBA. So even if you like Denver, the odds aren't great that they're going to be able to run the table once again. Not an easy thing.
No. And I think to really look at it and look at like something to bet on, you maybe bet them to win a conference, or you start to look at like, just to get the matchups right, use a couple Denver prices just in case they get there. Then you have the ticket already set, then you can work off of it, because getting to the finals is one thing, but then getting over the hump,
winning
that's the other. So it's really tough. But the last repeat champion in baseball, which we're going to talk about here now, the Yankees. And
impossible.
It just so long ago when the AL East was theirs, pretty much they were dominating that division and winning it. But look at this American League East now. How in the world, Taylor, are they the favorite? When you see those teams underneath them, like, how are the Yankees the favorite?
We know why, Dave. We know why they're the favorite, because they went out and they signed Juan Soto. Huge piece there. You've got Garrett Cole. They feel like they got Carlos Rodon. They've got a bolstered, pitching rotation now in their eyes, and they're the Yankees. So, of course, they're going to be the favorite in the AL East after they went out and did all their off-season work. I like the Orioles.
So are
in the
we
AL
ruling
East.
out Texas then? Right? Texas is not winning. So can we just rule out Texas repeating, since it hasn't been done since in a hot minute here?
I don't think Texas is repeating.
Yeah.
No way, right? They were one and done.
Joe, I don't know if the Yankees are the best team in their division. I
don't think they are.
You think the Orioles are?
I do. I would go with Baltimore to win the AL East and repeat for winning the East for a second year in a row, overtaking the Yankees at this point.
Joe, anyone else in that division that, last year the Yankees finished fourth, only ahead of the Red Sox, but anyone else in that division, if it's not Baltimore, I wouldn't rule out Toronto. I think they can go either way. They can take the next step, or they can really regress, depending on their starting pitching. Tampa's always there. You ready to say Tampa's going to lose more games than they win?
No, but it wasn't the American League East last year one of the, or at least for a long stretch, they had the chance of every team finishing above 500, which was which had never happened, right? Prior to last year, where you get every team. It was without a doubt, and I still think the argument being made, it's probably still top to bottom, even though I think the Red Sox are trash. But it's still going to be probably the most competitive division of them all here. And the funny part is, Dave, Taylor, you don't need to be the best team of your division to win a World Series. I don't think that they had, not only you got extra teams now, and look at those 4 teams at the top. So if we can all agree that the Red Sox are kind of placed on that graphic where they should be, well, then, the Rays, the Blue Jays, the Orioles, and the Yankees, not just that division, but you're probably going to get at least 2 teams in the playoffs from the American League East. I think that's how good it is, unless you think you're getting an extra team in the Central this year, which
we agree that only one team is coming out of the American League Central. Whoever wins the division, you want to talk about. Yeah, you want to talk about having to win your division to get in.
Yes,
this is it.
Absolutely.
This is the only way any one of these teams are getting in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's probably Minnesota again, right? Didn't they finally win a playoff game last year, like for the first time in 9,000 years, or a series, right? Didn't they? It was like, yay. But
they won the series.
A lot of good
the
pitching.
Wild card series.
The wild card series, right? Yeah. So they to start off with, right? So, and that's a pretty much intact team coming back. So I don't know who's going to make a run. Everyone seems to be high on the Royals.
Okay, I'm one of those people.
And you know what? That's fair, though, because
I'm going to put a little money on the Royals to win the AL Central.
That's
I
fair.
like what they went out and did in the offseason. They've got a lot of big league veterans to help with the younger roster. They've only won 65 in 56 games over the last 2 seasons. The win totals bolstered all the way up to 73.5. That means they've got to get 18 more victories than last season. Somebody in Vegas is saying they did enough to be a lot better than they have been the last 2 years. You've got Hunter Renfroe, you've got Garrett Hampson, you've got Austin Nola, and then you've also got Bobby Witt Jr. on his huge 11-year deal that he just signed. They're obviously expecting a lot more out of him. I like the Royals. I think the Royals are worth a little money in the AL Central.
You went out and signed Walker, right? You went out and signed Seth Lugo, so you got some rotation guys, too, that are without a doubt. I mean, Walker could be made outside of Snell, was probably the best pitcher on the Padres last year there for a very, very long stretch. So, you know, and they're spending money, not something I thought, Dave, I would ever see the Royals do, lock up that kind of money on a cornerstone franchise player. It's a small market, let's be realistic. But, hey, it's not like the Royals were ever a big market. When did they win it all? Wasn't Perez there? I mean, it can't be that long ago.
2015.
Right? 15, yeah.
2015.
Okay.
And that team was filled with what? Like, who was on that team outside of
random
Salvador
players?
Perez? Right,
Ben Zobrist was the World Series MVP, and then he won with the Cubs as the World Series MVP as well the next year. Yeah.
Yeah. And Madison Bumgarner was unbelievable. They rode Mad Bum all the way. So, everybody's betting Detroit too. That's the team in the American League Central. The little but they bet the Tigers every year. I think you go to the most competitive division from the American League Central to one of the most competitive divisions along with the American League East, the American League West. This is like every year now. We just punch Houston's ticket because they win, but Seattle's there. And Joe, you started the segment off with forget about Texas. Everybody's forgetting about Texas. I don't understand it.
Just in the World Series.
They have Scherzer and DeGrom just waiting to be their trade deadline acquisitions. They're hurt, yes, but if they come back at all, these numbers don't reflect anything of reality other than that A's number should have a double K next to it because the A's aren't winning anything. I think their season win total goes under. But what about you, Taylor? In the
sleeping on the A's. Sleeping on the A's. Ugh.
I don't have anything that I've bet in the AL West yet that I really like. I do agree with you though, Dave. I feel like we are kind of already counting out the Rangers, and they did just win the World Series. I'm kind of forgetting about them. Maybe it's just because the Astros always dominate there, so we kind of forget. We look past everybody else because of the Astros.
Well, it feels like the Astros, although I guess Verlander is your opening day starter now. He's back with the Astros. I guess we forget that. But doesn't it feel like maybe the Astros are on the downslide here and not like it feels like maybe this is I didn't like their bullpen last year. I don't like their bullpen again this year. They certainly have a great nucleus of guys, and as long as Verlander can stay healthy, you're going to have you're going to have him and Valdez. You're going to have a nice 1-2 punch. But is it enough when what the Orioles have done and Toronto's done and Seattle's done?
Joe,
I don't know.
Every time we try to bury the Astros, they know.
I know.
They don't.
It's like a cockroach.
They won't go away.
Yep.
So, just switch gears. Go to the National League East.
I mean, if you really think about it, too, the series between the Rangers and the Astros to get to the World Series, I mean, that could have gone either way. It went to 7. Right. So we could have almost saw the Astros in the World Series last year winning it against the Diamondbacks.
Good point. Yep. Good point.
Go to the National League East.
Forgot about them.
This is Braves, Phillies, and everybody else. Taylor.
The Marlins. Stop it.
No doubt.
Please.
It's the Marlins.
Joe.
I mean, stop.
Get out of
Giving
Miami,
him no
Joe.
credit here. Come on.
Joe.
Sandy Alcantara will be back in 2025, ready to roll. You just watch. Oh, you were talking about next year. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. Marlins are out. Mets are out. Nationals out. It's going to be Philadelphia and Atlanta. It's like the worst division again. It's going to be rinse and repeat here. But the Central is, to me, very interesting because are we sticking – to me, I think Milwaukee – so you lost Burns. That's fine, but you still got the best bullpen. You still have some of the best defensive players in the game in that. I don't know. I don't know that there's that big a drop-off with the Milwaukee Brewers unless you think the Cubs are really going to take that next step here, Taylor?
I'm torn in the Central. I think it's a little crazy. The Cardinals are the favorite to win the division, but then I thought I saw a few days ago the Cubs moved up to be the favorite to win the NL Central. So the numbers have been moving a lot already within the first week of spring training starting. I don't understand how the Cardinals go from finishing dead last in the division to now being the favorite to win the Central when they were also the favorite at the start of the year last year, and they performed terribly. I'm not on the Cardinals. I think I would look to put some money on either the Cubs or the Reds. Maybe I'm saying that because I'm biased as a Cubs fan. The Reds, a little bit different. The way I see it is they have a really young roster. They've got another year of experience under their belt. They already overperformed last season. I'm expecting them to be even better this year. I like the Reds a lot. I like what I'm seeing out of the Cubs. I'm happy that they re-signed Cody Bellinger. I already have gone to a few spring training games, and I like what I'm seeing so far. So I'm heavy on the Cubs right now, too.
I'm just making sure my earphones work. Jack is worried that I couldn't hear because I heard Taylor say all this other stuff and neglected to mention the Pirates. I don't understand what's going on. Skeens, pitching great. No one is giving
Do
the
they even
Pirates
still
any
exist in Major League
Yeah,
Baseball?
really, Taylor. Thank you very much. Are they even in? Are they still have a professional
They're still
team?
in the NL
Really?
Central, both of you. Yes, I heard what you said. That's
Do
fine.
you have a dollar hat for
Taylor.
them? Because I bet you can buy one. I'm just saying. I bet you they're available for $1 here. We'll close it out.
Point guard, a great big that can block shots, a team that can play defense, and seniors that can put the ball in the hole. That's who you bet on. You don't bet on freshmen. You don't bet on teams that don't play defense. There you go.
I mean, you got to run the guy over to call a foul in a tie game in that kind of a spot. That was a bad job by those refs.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, good news is Dave did find his $1 Pittsburgh Pirates hat, so they do, in fact, actually still exist in Major League Baseball. But we want to thank you guys again for hanging out with us here as we close out this first hour of In-Game Live Prime Time. Much more still to come your way. We'll take a look at college hoops and the NHL coming up next hour. But, Taylor, before we say goodbye, come on, lay it out there for us. Best bet of the night here for those that might just be joining us.
All right, my best bet of the night is going to be Heat Center, Bam Adebayo, over 29.5 points plus rebounds. I also am going to give you guys one little MLB future because we talked about the Royals a little bit. I took the Royals over their win total of 73.5. I think everybody else should do it too. So give me the over on the Royals win total as well this MLB season.
Ooh. Who wins more, Dave? The Royals or the Pirates? Who wins more games? Yeah. I'm just saying.
That question. It's a simple answer.
Thought that. Yeah. So it's going to be a fun.
It's the Pirates.
It's going to be a fun.
I don't know. The Royals have easier division.
It's a really tough one.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a really
brutal.
tough one. It might be the Royals' year to actually get over 500. Does either team get over 500? Let's put it that way.
Yes. Yes.
I think so.
I have to. I think so, without a doubt. I'm kind of with you. I think the Royals are good for 85 wins this year. They're going to surprise a lot of people because I think Detroit is a hype train for what reason. I have no idea. I think Detroit's going to fall flat on their face.
I think he has a chance to win the Cy Young this year.
Yeah. If he stays healthy, because that's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah, he can never stay healthy.
Are the Royals in Arizona?
The Royals are in yes.
They are.
Yeah, in Arizona.
I think they are.
Yeah.
I'm coming down to Arizona. Yes. We're going to a Cubs-Royals spring training game, T. That'll be fun. We'll get that
Let's go, Dave. I'm ready.
I'll be down.
I'm going to the White Sox Angels this weekend. Should be interesting.
Oh, that's good. Between the both of them, they'll have 30 wins combined there. Taylor, we appreciate it. Another hour next.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, primetime off and running, hour number 2 here on the Sports Grid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan as we are keeping our eye across the scoreboards right now. We've got some NBA action underway here. A pretty good one there in Orlando, 93-92 right now. The Magic on top of Utah by 1. Not so close in Charlotte as they are getting beat once again by the Milwaukee Bucks, 91-72. The Knicks just can't seem to get to 50 points, 64-49 right now. They are down to the Golden State Warriors, and I couldn't believe it that we were laughing that we had the Oklahoma City Thunder, in fact, they tipped off their game with the Spurs, and the Spurs actually kind of boat raced them a little bit, but it looks like the Thunder have regained control of that one in the first, 28-24. We got Rockets and Suns coming up in just a couple of minutes, and then we've got some late night action between the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets, and then, of course, the Lakers and Washington. Did you keep your eye on anything in the NHL that's already dropped? I know we got a ton of late games as well coming up.
Yeah. Canadians Panthers over. We need that one.
Ooh.
Watching that close. Maple Leafs playing the Coyotes. Wetzel is on this ridiculous prop that Austin Matthews scores 15 goals in the month of February. And he needs a hat trick tonight to get there for him. So far, they got 3 goals, and he has one of them. I'm hoping he gets a second one here in the second period, and then we can sweat the third period. He hits a 28-1. There might be some shifts to fill in because I don't think he's going to work. I think he's going to go on vacation. It's a big nut. It's a big one. So, oh, wow. The third period just started.
How many does he need?
2 goals. He needs 2 goals this period. Can you believe he made this bet? He may finish 1 goal short. That would be terrible. That would be no good.
Know that's coming. It's Wetzel.
I know.
You know that's coming. He's probably going to score within the first 3 minutes of the third period, and then and then he's going to have one hit the crossbar that they're going to review and still not give to him. So there'll be an offsides or something along those lines. You know it's coming. Wetzel knows it's coming.
I know. He's probably – I don't think he's watching the show right now, but maybe he'll listen back and he'll go, yeah, those guys got me. Vegas and Boston. Good hockey game. I think the Knights played maybe their best game in 2 months.
Yes.
Right? The last game in Toronto, they won 6-2. They're playing the Bruins. I told everybody this morning on BBB that the Knights were a live dog. I thought the game would play to the under. It's already way over. 4-3 going to the third. I think you got to watch the Knights. It's worthy of a bet. I think if they get the next goal, obviously they don't become the favorite, but you're getting a really good price right now on a game that becomes pick'em. You might have to sweat the overtime and the shootout. This one may end up. Boston's last 7 games, if you bet the 60-minute result, it's been a draw 7 times in a row. Plus 350, plus 320. Yeah, there's people going on vacations to the Caribbean from our chat and from our Discord channel on the show. They've been giving this out and have cashed it every time. The Bruins play close games. It goes to overtime. So I think we got to watch that. Later, Joe, can you find a reason to take the Blackhawks against the Avalanche? I don't remember seeing a favorite minus 300 on the road. I don't know what the Avalanche would be at home against the Blackhawks, but you can't find a reason. And you like to take dogs. You can't find a reason to take the Blackhawks, can you?
No. Not against the Avalanche. I mean, it's tempting, but no. I would even be tempted to go. Just give me the Avalanche. Although it's not. What was it? 6.5. It's
closer. Yeah. Well, it's getting close to tip and their puck drop. Let me see. The current average price is.
It's got to be $3.
You could get 6.5 if you shop. 6 over minus a quarter. You know, that starts to get a little expensive for the totals, but you like over? I mean, I like Colorado's team total over. I don't know about the Blackhawks can't score. This one might have 4-2 written on it, right? That's the problem. So,
what did you get for an over in the Panther Canadians game? What is the over that we're trying to get? 6?
6 over quarter as well. There's some 6. There were 6.5, but we got 6 over 20. So that's we need over 6. That's going to be close too. We might need an empty netter for the push. I had on my. I wish it was $1. My Seattle hat earlier.
Oh no,
because
the Kraken.
The Kraken are playing the Penguins tonight. I feel like the Penguins stole one in Vancouver the other night. They were literally losing the entire game. Vancouver was the better team for like 56 minutes, and then the Penguins tied it late and won it in overtime. Price tonight on the Kraken, it almost feels too easy. I like Seattle tonight. I really do. I thought the price should have been minus 120.
Really?
Minus 125. Yeah. Seattle's one of those teams, I think, their expectations before the season were here, and they're playing down.
Right.
The Penguins, I don't know. It's a hit and miss. If the next week goes bad, they're sellers at the deadline. They're going to move a big piece to the team. If they win these next 3 or 4 games, the Western Canada swing, Seattle, then Calgary, and then Edmonton, they might be buyers. They still think they can make the playoffs. I don't think they're making the playoffs, Joe.
You don't think so? I think it's
no, I don't think so.
Well, that means they're going to be they are going to be that means they got to be sellers then.
Well, that's the reality of it, right? The Blackhawks waited too long to be sellers, and they took Taves and Kane down all the way to the end. They couldn't put a team around them. They got bad. And then they finally shipped Kane off to Detroit, but Taves is done, so now they got Bedard. The Penguins have a young nucleus, but they don't have – I don't think they have anything close to playoff goaltending consistency, and their defense is just not really defense. It's just – it needs a lot of work on a blue line. So I'm with you. I think they should be sellers, but it's hard to let go to pass, Joe. It's hard to let go to pass.
They showed us that over the last couple of seasons, too, as well. And by the way, Pavelski again, I think, just scored again. What is it, 3-0 Dallas? Just beating up on Winnipeg here in the second. They just started the second, too, and it's already 3-0. So Dallas is a tough team. Nobody's talking about. Interesting stuff there, guys. We'll catch up on college hoops. We'll do that next here on the Grid.
A great big that can block shots, a team that can play defense, and seniors that can put the ball in the hole. That's who you bet on. You don't bet on freshmen. You don't bet on teams that don't play defense. There you go.
I mean, you got to run the guy over to call a foul in a tie game in that kind of a spot. That was a bad job by those refs.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live. We are PrimeTime here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan as we're keeping our eye here in the NBA as hoping the Knicks can maybe make a little run at this. They're doing a pretty good job right now. 73-67. The Knicks have cut into that Warriors lead here as they got about 2.5 into left in the third quarter there. Most of the other games are blown out. Nets are blowing out the Hawks. Bucks blowing out the Hornets. The Jazz and the Magic at about 4.5 minutes ago knotted up 99 apiece. That should be a pretty good one. And look at this. The Spurs just took the lead on the Thunder there, 40-37. They got about 11 minutes to go in the second. And the Rockets and the Phoenix Suns, 7-5 right now. They just started that game. We got the Heat, Nuggets, Wizards, Lakers coming up a little bit later. We did get a couple of goals, Dave, which I think help you in the over with Canadians, Panthers. And how about the Islanders at the Little Caesars Arena getting it done right now? Big goal there. They're up 3-2 on the Red Wings, who even Red Wings fans didn't think they were going to be this good this year.
No, the Red Wings have been one of the coolest stories and surprises of the league. What's really not a surprise is that the Golden Knights just scored as well. You left that one out. Tied it up.
Just
4-4.
happened.
We're back, baby. That's it. We just.
And I think that was a shorthanded goal.
Yeah, I think
that was a shorthanded goal.
It was.
Wow.
It was a shorthanded goal. It was a huge save by Hill on the other end. And they came down and scored. So tied 4-4. You got a great number if you bet it before the break. That's how fast these things change. I don't know, Joe. The NHL has been so good recently. I think there's, when you look at the futures and you start to try to weigh out decisions and Eastern Conference odds and Western Conference odds, and you start to look at it and go, okay, I don't know who's going to win this thing. That's a great thing for business for the book. Listen, it's good when there's one team and everybody's rooting against and people like to bet and take shots and then the favorite wins and the book, takes it to the bank. But when you're all over the place and you're on all different teams and legitimately the 8 seed can win the Stanley Cup. It's happened. So that's really good for business. Leaves you opportunities to bet this stuff in game during the week, especially even on the weekends. I think it's been really good. Yeah, that was a shorthanded goal. Boy, that was a good play.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
what are we doing with your Kings? Kings and Canucks earlier there. I looked at the under rather, because what's going on with Vancouver? Can't trust them, Dave. Can't score. Like what? And neither can the Kings, by the way. They can't score either. So I don't know what happened to these two teams. I had high expectations 2 months ago for them, and the Kings over the last 27 games are averaging just 2 goals a game. Like what's happening here?
Complete mess, right? It's a complete mess. Both of these teams are bet against. You got the Canucks, who started and played so well, and then the break hit and they slowed down a little. Now, like the mistakes catch up to this team. They're either trailing and have to come all the way back and then losing games late, or unable to protect the lead. Los Angeles Kings are just Jekyll and Hyde. I have no idea what you're going to get from them. They're a box of chocolates. You have no idea what you're going to get from them night to night. That's why it'll be interesting. We'll have Cam on here 30 minutes from now. I can't wait for him to come on, hopefully, and shed some light on this one, because, like, for the late stuff, I like Seattle. This one, I have no idea. The Kings in Vancouver, literally no idea. Lean under with you as well. And then there's Anaheim and SJ Sharkey, the San Jose Sharks. You want to talk about dumpster diving? I mean, Cam likes to go in the trash and get the scraps and all this other stuff. This is, I don't even know if a hockey fan wants to even take a stab at this game. But the Sharks are dogs at home to the Ducks. Like,
what does that tell you?
This, if they're going to win a game, it's tonight. I didn't even think I got the teal on. I don't got no Shark stuff. I got no Shark stuff, so I can't even. I can't even help them out. I don't have no Shark stuff. I don't.
Come on!
I got to work on that.
I know you can get that for $1. I mean, come on. You can. They'll probably pay you to take the hack. They'll be like, listen, time. Somebody
I like
rep.
the way you think, Joe. This would be a good time to get the Sharks stuff, because
absolutely.
It would be on discount. The teal pops. It always works.
Yep.
The teal always
give me
works.
the over. Yes.
Over. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's the play in the game. That's the play in the game. It's 6. It's going over. That's the play in the game. Forget aside.
See that?
I like.
We're going to cash 13 tickets here in the NHL, and these games haven't even started yet. It's going to be a piece of cake here. We do have a bunch of West Coast college basketball getting ready to go here tonight. USC taking on number 19 Washington State. 23 Gonzaga taking on the Dons of San Francisco. That, by the way, is at the Chase Center. That's not a home game for the Dons. That's where the Golden State Warriors play. So it is a neutral site.
Is that better or worse, Joe? When they do that, is that better or worse for the home team? It's better for the Zags.
Better for Gonzaga. I think it's better for the Zags. They play in a pretty big arena themselves, but they have played this game a bunch of times before here. And the Zags, let's face it, they're used to these big arena situations here, and they've been playing phenomenal, and they're a favorite against the Dons, laying 4. And then you got UCLA and Washington here tonight. Washington at home can ill afford to lose any more games here, but I am not running to the window to lay 8 with Washington State against a finally healthy USC team. That feels dangerous to me, and it feels dangerous trying to fade the Zags, I think, in a big spot, who still control their destiny out of the Western Conference there. The Dons, 22-7. They both have, I think, close to the same records, which is crazy because I think the Zags are heads and tails better than what the Dons are. And I think if they win this one, then I think they've got one guy. I think they got 1 game or 2 games left. Yeah. They can pretty much guarantee they're going to the dance. So then at that particular point, they're probably looking at a 4 or 5 seed that nobody, I think, would want to play. Still a pretty darn dangerous team, the Zags, that nobody talks about here, Dave.
for sure. As far as the Pac-12 game, I think under in Washington State, USC. That's about what the exact graphics say, 138.5. Thank you, Jack.
Yep. Yep.
I actually would lean San Francisco in that game. I don't think Gonzaga is as good as advertised, and I think this might be one of those games that catches them before the West Coast Conference Tournament, which is in Vegas, which I've seen Gonzaga come in here and have a double or triple bye, have to win 2 games, and they go to the dance every year. They're not going to be the number 1 seed in the West Coast Conference this year because it's St. Mary's. St. Mary's is playing Pepperdine today in Malibu at one of the nicest campuses I've ever seen, Pepperdine. It's a gigantic number on the road. I always look to take the home dog, Joe. But listen,
can you?
There's not a reason why you could find to take the Pepperdine Waves in this game. St. Mary's is going to house them, crush them, lay it. Right?
That's going to be disgusting tonight. And there's really no reason not to lay those points with St. Mary's here tonight, because Pepperdine's going to chuck them up, but St. Mary's, you know what they're going to do? They're going to slow it down to a crawl, and that's going to be the end of it. It'll be over at the break when it's all said and done.
That's one of the main.
And they don't play any defense.
This could be ugly. This might be one of those 30-point blowouts. That's never in doubt. The in-game number might get out of control.
Oh, team total might not be a bad look either.
A great big that can block shots, a team that can play defense, and seniors that can put the ball in the hole. That's who you bet on. You don't bet on freshmen. You don't bet on teams that don't play defense. There you go.
I mean, you got to run the guy over to call a foul in a tie game in that kind of a spot. That was a bad job by those refs.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live. We are PrimeTime here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan as we've got a couple of games here in the NBA getting interesting except for the Suns, who seem to be pouring it on the Houston Rockets right now, 24-12 in that matchup there. But a good one, Dave. Who'd have thunk it? Spurs and OKC there, 56-50 to Spurs at home in San Antonio, I think for the first time in like a month, because I think the rodeo comes there each and every year, and then they got to go on that crazy road trip, which is for like a month and a half, and then they are finally back home, and they're playing some inspired basketball here as 56-50 with about 4.5 minutes to go. And the Knicks, every time they get close, the Warriors just making big shot after big shot. 87-72 right now. The Warriors are on top, and it does look like the Magic are going to pull it out there, 115-105 over the Jazz. We were checking in on the Toronto Raptors to see, Toronto Maple Leafs, to see if we got any more goals there for our friend Scotty Wetzel. And whether or not he could get that crazy prop bet. What would you not have hedged it and just went over, maybe under his goal prop here tonight, just in case?
Well, I think I would have bet him to score one. Yeah, just because we know Wetzel and we know how things go, we got to bet him to score one, and then not score two if that's available. We'll lay that juice, right? Because that would be the way it would go. He'll score one. Then if he does score two, then you're just kind of sitting there like in trouble. I don't know. Thought he was going to score one. He always plays well against Arizona. That's where he's from. So he does kind of. I mean, he had a ton of family there in Arizona. He got to be hyped up because he knows that everybody at his home is watching. So. Yeah, 3-2 there, 2-2 Buffalo and Tampa. It's 3-2 Montreal, 7.5 minutes left in the third period. Good time to bet the Panthers. I'm just saying, it's probably a good time to bet the Panthers if you're watching the show. Just putting that out there.
Too late. They just scored 3-3.
Who?
Yeah, too late. They just scored 3-3. Panthers, Canadians, 3-3. Tied it up. You're good to go there, Dave. That's an over. What you got here now in a 3-3 game. Yes. See, just like that.
I love when we do that. When we're doing it, when we're talking about this stuff on the show, that's how the show flows.
I believe it was Reinhardt. Yeah, Reinhardt nailed it.
Love it.
And that was also a shorthanded goal, Dave. You're going to love that there. And 4-4 Bruins and Knights now here with about 8 minutes to go? About 8 minutes ago.
I'm at 8 minutes.
Don't tell me this thing's going to go to over. Please don't tell me this is going to go overtime again. That's like 8 out of 9 with them now.
8 in a row.
Unreal.
It's 8 in a row. If they get to overtime tonight, it's 8 in a row at plus 320 minimum, as high as plus $4 some nights, anywhere in between. Yeah, I got a guy on the Twitter at PSU Auto. Follow him. He puts out these hockey sheets every day. He's amazing. Good, friend of mine, Pittsburgh guy. He got me on this, and we've been talking about it every day. Listen, this is that time of the year the hockey becomes kind of rhythmic, kind of pattern-like until the trade deadline. And then you can throw it all out the window, and it's bet against the bad teams, and everybody else, there's a lot of crapshoot games. I mean, it's like the NBA. After the All-Star break, you got to pay so much to bet against the bad teams, because they're really bad, and I think a lot of them end up tanking. And that's why all the games are going under. Since the All-Star break, unders are 79% to the under. And since Friday, it's 83%. I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my other buddy, Matt R. Jacob, on the Twitter. He's unbelievable, putting out these tweets every day, summarizing the day. Him and Dave Tooley both. They do a great job. It becomes pattern and rhythmic. So pick your spots, yes. In-game's very volatile but valuable. It's good to see. There it is. I see the tying goal. Time to bet the Red Wings. Can we speak a Red Wings goal into existence, Joe? Let's get
I think we can. The Sabres just tied it up, too, against the Lightning. So now There's another one. I think there's only 20, 30 seconds left in that one. So that looks like it's going in. Could very well be heading to OT here. So,
Yes.
boy, that just got real interesting real quickly here. So that one's knotted up 2 apiece. Canadians are still on a power play against the Panthers. And like you said, one more Red Wings goal to get that thing tied up. It'll be should be very interesting. Still no score, by the way. Blackhawks and Avalanche. And wasn't it the Blackhawks a couple of years ago that had that unbelievable streak of, what was it, first period overs? Where they every game they played, right? It was them too. It was another one of those over, right? It was just was just rinse and repeat. Just bet it, keep betting it, and I kind of feel like that's it. All right, so let's see. We've got Boston. Got to bet the draw. I don't even think to bet the draw in hockey. Don't even think to bet it. It's ridiculous.
It's a fun bet, but it's always plus money. So there's always it's always a good price. I mean, if you go 1 out of 3, you make a little bit because it's always over $3. But if you go 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 in a stretch, I mean, you're really starting to pad the bankroll. Yep. And it's just consistent. Although with 6 minutes to go, the Knights just got called for a penalty. Pretty iffy interference call. So Bruins go on a power play. This might be a time to buy them in game before they scored a power play goal because the price will be ridiculous if they score one. Joe, Matt and I do this on Fridays when we do this show, and me and Wetzel do this on Tuesday and Wednesday because Cam joins us every last segment of the show at the 40. We try to handicap the handicapper, okay? There's 3 hockey games. Pittsburgh and the Kraken, Kings and the Canucks, and the Ducks at the Sharks. I will go on record as saying he has the Kraken, he has the Kings, and he has S.J. Sharkey, the Canucks. Total-wise, I don't know. He doesn't do the totals as much, but those are his 3 sides. Who do you think he has?
It's tough. I can't even I can't argue with the Kraken. I think he's going to be he loves Seattle.
He does.
I have feeling he's not going Sharks at this price. I think it's a little too cheap for him. I think he'll probably look Ducks, and I'd be shocked if he went against the Canucks. I'd be shocked if he's not backing if he's backing them, having to go and do a show with Gabe coming up at the top of the hour here. And listen, the Canucks should win at home. Doesn't mean they will, but they should beat the Kings, who can't score and hit water if they fell out of a boat. So I'm just saying. But I think the Kraken, you're spot on there.
The Nukes all the rest of the show because you're going to make me laugh.
Absolutely.
Every time
That's it. Nukes. Going to Canucks, man. Going to the Canucks here. How much time are we left here? And we are going to overtime, by the way, with Buffalo. And it looks like Buffalo and Tampa is going to overtime. And the Canadians and Panthers got about 4 minutes left, still knotted up 3 apiece. Oh, and the Islanders just scored to put that game away. So 5-3, the Islanders are going to end up winning that game. Wow, didn't see that happen.
At the wrong side.
Yes. Winnipeg just scored to get back in it. 3-1 there against Dallas, which is nice. And still no score with Avalanche and the Blackhawks, which kind of surprises me a little bit here. I thought for sure the Avalanche should have gotten out to a quick lead here, and that would be good. How much you want to make a bet, since we're handicapping the handicapper here? How much you want to make a bet that Cam is going to say that he had Cameron Young is the first-round leader, and he missed the putt on the 17th, and he's one shot off, that he was one shot away?
No,
I'm telling you, man.
Don't say
it's
that.
coming.
No.
I'm just telling you it's coming.
No.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna say he had either Billy Horschel or Cameron Young for the first round leader, and he was so close until
this Raineri guy. Didn't he have Raineri?
Yeah.
Raineri?
But he didn't play him. He's ultimately going to say he didn't play him. Watch anything. I know. I know. It's
in the basketball game, he's going to have Washington State. I think he's going to have Washington State. Lay the points. He loves the Cougars. Makes that noise. I think he'll have San Francisco against the Zags. And there's no chance he's taking Pepperdine. No chance. No way.
I don't know about
the Bruins
that.
just scored. It's 5-4.
I can't believe it's that. Wow. Look at that. That was quick, too. No overtime for you. That's what you get. But we do need the Panthers to not go to overtime and get one more goal would be fantastic there, Florida, if you could pull that off here. And Toronto, I think, put them away, right? So 4-2 there against the Coyotes. And we're getting ready for OT with Tampa and the Sabres. We're also getting ready coming up top of the hour for the Miami Heat, looking to exact a little revenge over the Denver Nuggets, a rematch of last year's finals. And the first time they've actually had a chance to see each other since then. That's coming up top of the hour here. And I don't hate the idea that Miami keeps this thing uncomfortably close. I don't know that they'll win it, but hopefully a last-second Jokic bank shot wins it, and everybody goes home happy there and cashes the ticket. So we will we'll get the results of Cam Stewart and how much trash is he looking at here tonight. We'll have that answer coming up next here on The Grid.
A great big that can block shots, a team that can play defense, and seniors that can put the ball in the hole. That's who you bet on. You don't bet on freshmen. You don't bet on teams that don't play defense. There you go.
I mean, you got to run the guy over to call a foul in a tie game in that kind of a spot. That was a bad job by those refs.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, primetime here on the Sports Grid Network. Getting ready here, coming up top of the hour. Cam Stewart, Gabe Morency, they'll take over here, and got some great late games, not only in the NBA, but in NHL as well as college hoops. So, Cam Stewart, we love the dumpster diving opportunities here this time of day here tonight, heading into it, and Lord knows there is some absolute trash here tonight in the NHL late here. So let's start with some of these games getting ready to drop, specifically the trash known as San Jose playing that other trash there, the Anaheim Ducks here. What are you, which side of the trash can are you digging in here?
Joe, I must need mental help, and I'm sorry. Like, I probably have a meeting with Cardano later on. Like, I'm going back to San Jose. Dave knows I'm an idiot. Like, I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for punishment. But I'll tell you, if they can beat anybody, it's Anaheim at home. I will take the San Jose Sharks at plus 112. When Gabe asked me about this game, I'm not even going to tell him I bet on it because I just don't want to deal with it tonight. You go, oh, it's such a. Why'd you do that? I'm like, why are you betting on Cal State Irvine? It's the same crap. We're both betting on. We're betting on trash stuff from different in different stores. You know, I'm at the electronics store. You're at the grocery store. We're both buying crap.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm with San Jose tonight. I think they respond against Anaheim. Anaheim's one of those teams. I'll take them on the road as big dogs, but not tonight. I think San Jose, after that loss to New Jersey, it's kind of one of those situations, Dave. You plug your nose and go, I'm betting the game. I'm not going to say I'm doing something crazy, Joe, like monster units, but San Jose is part of my portfolio tonight, and I'm almost embarrassed to tell you guys this.
Love it.
That's fine. Listen, we tried to handicap the handicapper tonight. I asked Joe what you would have, and I said you would have the Sharks. So, I mean, I've been there with you. I totally get it. Now, Pittsburgh and the Kraken, okay? It's a tough game. It's a pick-em game. Totals right on the money. You like a side in this game, Cam?
I like the Kraken, Dave, and I don't want to go against your Penguins, but
boom!
I think the Kraken, you guys, why don't you just come here and rob me? I'll just give you the money. You don't even have to put masks on. Just wait at the door and say,
these are my two sides, too.
Okay, good. This is good, Dave. Yeah. I love the Kraken tonight. Pittsburgh over their comeback win against Vancouver. Seattle needs points. This is a big game for the Kraken. I think they're at home a better team. Nice price, Joe. We're barely laying any juice. Joe, I walked into the nursing home today. I go to see the folks. I come back for a quick beer to pick up some money from the bar for the Super Bowl squares. This guy comes out of nowhere. Hey, Cam, you owe me $300. I don't even remember making a bet with the guy in the Super Bowl, but I did. He had it written down. I didn't remember. I'm like, are you kidding me? I come to collect money. He sits down. He goes, you bet me $300. I had Kansas City, you had the Niners. I'm like, and there's the money out the door. I'm just, what a loser. Like, Dave, the minute I got the money, I'm like giving it to us. Like, I barely know this guy. He comes in with like no teeth. I'm like, I didn't bet you anything. I'm like, yeah, I might have. I did a lot of stupid things before the Super Bowl. Damn it.
Yes. Especially with the 49ers there.
I hate San Francisco now. These guys really pissed me off. So, and Vancouver, third game, you know I'm going to I don't like to lay the juice. I don't like to lay the juice, but it's Canucks.
The Canucks, yes. Canucks. The Canucks, yes.
Joe had the Canucks.
I had the Canucks tonight in a rebound game.
I didn't know.
Yep, the Canucks.
College basketball, you guys know where I'm going with college basketball. I don't even know why I come. I should just email you the picks, but we have entertainment here on the grid. Yes. San Francisco Dons at +4 is my play.
Yep.
Money line sprinkle. San Francisco Dons is my college basketball play. Are we there?
I love it.
They're going to win.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, 4.5.
Yes.
Joe,
I know you guys are shopping. I like it.
John,
I like it.
I'm going up and over the total, too. Give me the
I got
over
another
total
one for you
as
guys.
well.
Yay, I'm on Nashville. Good for me. Dave, this Bruins Vegas game, guys, I don't know how many times I have to reinforce this, but people, I don't care if you like hockey. I don't care if you live in Acapulco, anywhere, Bovey, he's in Mexico, Belize, wherever the hell you're going. These games, 3-goal leads, okay? Vegas, you're getting these teams at crazy prices. They're coming back all the time. Like, again, like even Arizona, this Leafs game was nuts. Did you guys see what happened at the end for the total at 6.5? Arizona kept their goalie pulled when they were down 2. Like, the game's over, and then the Leafs on an open net hit the post with 2 seconds. I'm like, if those guys got screwed, I'm telling you, I don't know how you take unders in this league now because guys are just leaving their goalie out to lose by 3 goals, 4 goals. They don't even care. Like you're just taking your life in your hands, man, when you're playing that game. So I don't know what you guys are thinking about the late West Coast action. I need your opinion. My heart is speaking. I love Washington State. I'm a Wazoo guy, but that line looks. I'm like, why is it 7.5?
It's
USC
disgusting.
Reeks. It really reeks, Dave. I need a dance partner here. Or are we laying 7.5 with the Cougars in a bounce back spot? I don't know. I can tell you the Trojans reek.
Make the noise.
Yeah.
Make the noise. I had you as a favorite.
Cougars.
Cougars.
Down boy. Down. Whoa. Mountain Lions.
Yes.
There we go.
It's Cougars.
Cougars beat Trojans.
Dance partner.
There we go. Yeah.
Dance partner. The late game. Pepperdine is at home against St. Mary's.
Yeah.
I know we like to take points, but Pepperdine is a complete disaster.
Who's the worst team, though? Pacific. Like, Pepperdine blew out the Pacific Tigers. Like, even me, like, if some guy had a gun to my head and said, you have to bet on the San Jose Sharks or Pacific, I'm on the Sharks. And I'll just sit back and I'm probably getting 2 bullets. But you know what? I feel better about the Sharks. Like, Pacific's awful. That team reeks, man. They're brutal. Yes. But anyway, I'm with you, Dave. It's St. Mary's or nothing. That's the thing. People think I just walk up and go dog. No. It's not like that at all. Like I just think San Francisco's in a good spot tonight, and I want to take. What do you guys think? UCLA, Washington. I was going to do the Washington 2-step in Pullman and Seattle, but that UCLA game, the way that they might win this game, it's kind of a type of game that UCLA can kind of create. That line tells me UCLA wins this game. That's what I'm looking at.
I'm leaning that way too.
Not seeing my golf picks this week. Corey Wetzel, Eric Cole, dead last. Enjoy that 78 that he shot today. Nice 7 over in good conditions. Sorry about that one. Can't get them all, but we have a lot of guys lingering at the leaderboard, including your boy Billy Horschel, Joe, Florida Gators, all over the leaderboard today. He looked really good. He was a big price. I'm going to give you a live one too, Joe, like I did with the afternoon nap last week. I got a guy for you. Are you ready? I got a guy for you. CT Pots and Pans live at 50-1. CT Pan.
Yes.
He's 5 under. Yes. I watched this guy play. This is the type of course. Nothing rattles him. He's a stud. He had a horrible first round in the last tournament, closed it out without a bad round. He would have been there among the leaders. Dave, watch out for this guy. CT Pan.
Really?
50-1 live. Afternoon nap. Turns in. Wake up and put it in the pan. Bacon and eggs, baby. Nice and easy. Over easy with sausage. Down at Dupar's, my favorite breakfast joint in Vegas. Pots and Pans, 50-1.
Any chance of you dabbling in the late night NBA after what the Lakers did last night?
Anything you tell me, I will do. I'm basically your robot right now. If you tell me to bet, like Fred Flintstone, I'm in.
I like the Nuggets. I think that game actually goes under. The Nuggets under has been an ATM at home. So I like that game
your
under.
Picks, Dave. We're reading each other's mail. Like every game we've talked about, I've agreed with you.
You guys
so
are all over it, man.
Yeah, Lakers and Wizards, though. Can I pass on that one? Can I just pass? I kind of want to take the Wizards,
you have to pass because the only side you can take is probably the Wizards.
I like the Wizards.
Spot.
Yeah.
After LA's win over the Clippers,
Joe? That last night. How do you get motivated for the Wizards coming in tonight after a 20-point comeback against the Clippers? This is one they sleepwalk through. I think you got to be live during the game. If they get a 6 or 8 point lead and this thing goes up, the Wizards plus 15 in game, like that's the time to really pounce on them. But pregame, I like the Wizards. But you don't have to bet it. Don't bet it.
No, I do, Dave. I do. If their game is available, just for less units.
Now you got it.
What do you guys think about the hockey totals? Is there anything you feel? I'll give you sides. So I told you Sharks, Kraken, Canucks, home teams, and I need a total from you, Dave. You're better with the totals. Like I told you, I bet all those unders before, and I lost every game by the hook, and I was like raging. I don't like to give Joe losers because he deserves better.
Notice.
Come on.
2 crap teams. You know the 2 dumpster dive teams.
Yeah, so Kraken. Sorry. Ducks, Sharks over 6. Okay, you know what? I'll roll there. I'll roll with that.
I got it.
Okay, fair enough. That sounds good, fellas.
That one's less pain than the other 2. The other 2 are going to fall right around the number. I mean, you get competitive
I got a live
games.
Bet for you guys too, since we're here.
Hit it.
I'm going to tell you, I'm taking this team. It causes a lot of people misery. Give me the Winnipeg Jets right now down 2 goals, plus 2.5, minus 106 on my FanDuel. Sprinkle on 10-1, money line, plus 1,000 against Dallas. That's my live play. Already on Nashville. Don't want a piece of Chicago. The Jets. They were down 3-0. I saw this movie tonight. 3-1. If they get the next one, I think they're very live, and I'll take the plus 2.5. So basically, say $100 is your unit. I'm going to go 75-25, Dave, at 10-1. Why not?
I like it. I think they're going to they're going to a shootout in Florida and Montreal.
Montreal was live tonight. Joe, if I actually told you I had a great night, I bet on the Sabres. See, this is what I do. Right. I know some nights it's going to blow up in my face, but I took the Sabres in Tampa Bay when they were down. They won in overtime or a shootout. Montreal was live, plus 1.5 sprinkle. Like, not every dog, but, you know, and I almost clicked Columbus plus 1.5. They almost came back and tied Carolina. It was a 1-goal game. This is a great guys, and Jack, he'll tell you. First of all, Jack, we have to have a side bet. Rangers Leafs on Saturday night. I'll talk to you on Morency's show. On tomorrow, we'll get something going on. Maybe a dinner when I come to New York or something. We'll figure it out. But I'm going to say this. Dave, you know. That's what's going to happen in these games. I'm telling you, these dogs, some of these playoff teams, you're going to catch them napping, and you're going to clip like a plus 300, plus 350. It's this time of the year. We're getting really, really close. Teams are worried about health. Vegas, Mark Stone, shutting them down, other things. In hockey, you just got to get to the dance. You worry about coming in healthy. You don't worry about beating loser teams. That's the thing. Watch out for the teams who get the call-ups. Those are teams you bet on. You're fired up when you get called up.
We talked a little bit about the American League East earlier.
Yeah.
I know you're a Jays guy.
I am.
Are the Jays live at all to win the American League East? I mean, the price is absurd. Nobody's giving them a real shot. You think they're live at all?
Yeah, I do. Joe, you know, you played the game. Dave, you're a baseball maven. You know everything about the sport. I think the Jays are really lethal. That Alex Manoah start did not give anybody, like, already. Like, he's just, like, the guy was on, like, Nutrisystem and, like, Slim Fast. He's like, you need health insurance when he pitches. He almost killed the guy. Like, 96-mile-an-hour cheese right at the guy's temple. Like, it's like Wild Thing from Major League. Nobody knows what's going on. This guy doesn't know what he's throwing. It's a problem. But when the bats are there, Vladimir Guerrero, I'm expecting a bounce back year. I'm not going to lie to you, Dave. I like Baltimore in the division, but I think the Jays, for their win total's light. It was 87.5. That's light to me. They're a good baseball team still. They're very good. But that division, man, it's tough. The Yankees look like they're getting a little bit better. Baltimore, they got pitching, some better arms. The Jays can rake. I think the Rays are going to be the team that I finally think they hit the skids, but never want to bet against them. They always find a way. Right, Joe?
Correct.
You know.
Yeah, that's the problem. I still think it's the best division in the American League, though. Still,
it is.
I mean, even the Red Sox are just going to be awful.
They're trash.
I mean, they're going to be trash here. But everyone else is they're at least a 500 or better team. So it's going to be interesting as long as Toronto moves the fences back, because they moved them in last year and couldn't hit at the Rogers Center anymore. So move it back. Move it back. You hit more home runs. Ridiculous. We'll close it out next on the grid.
Later, guys.
A great big that can block shots, a team that can play defense, and seniors that can put the ball in the hole. That's who you bet on. You don't bet on freshmen. You don't bet on teams that don't play defense. There you go.
I mean, you got to run the guy over to call a foul in a tie game in that kind of a spot. That was a bad job by those refs.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
And it's over in a shootout. The Florida Panthers get it done 4-3 over the Canadians there. Way to get it done, Florida. Great job here, but we still have a couple of games getting ready to puck the drop here tonight, Dave, as we wrap up this edition of In-Game Live Prime Time. Kings, Canucks coming up, Penguins, Kraken, Ducks, Sharks. All right, Cam is going dumpster diving across. There's no way you're betting a Kraken, all right? There's no way you're betting against your pit. Oh, no, he's wearing a hat. Oh,
Joe,
no.
I found it. I found it during the commercial. Yeah, the Kraken. The fit works. Like the kids say, the fit has to work. The fit works. The Kraken tonight, it's going to be a tough one for the Penguins. I like the Kraken. Listen, if the Penguins, people, it's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me. They know I'm a Penguin fan. I'd love to see the Penguins win, but you don't bet with your heart. You bet with your head. I like the Kraken tonight.
Yeah.
That's the hockey game.
Kraken at
the
home.
Thunder, I put that hat down, but them in-game right now, you need an in-game play. Now's a good time to bet the Thunder. It worked out okay yesterday. T-Wolves were the in-game play. They were losing at the third quarter and then ended up crushing them in the fourth and got there easy. So there's a couple things to look at. How about you, Joe?
Yep.
I mean, what are you going to do tonight? What's on the agenda? You walking the dog after the show? You got a game you got to watch?
Yeah, definitely going to walk the dog after the show. Going to watch Jimmy Butler go toe-to-toe there with the Denver Nuggets here. We'll watch the Miami Heat continue to roll here, see if they can finally get one in Denver here tonight at a pretty decent price. And then I'm going to laugh at LeBron trying to run up and down for 4 quarters on the court, and as he collapses after that comeback last night. Not buying it, and I'm also not buying that the Rockets are done in this game just yet. So you may want to keep an eye in-game on the Rockets against Phoenix as well. Cam Stewart, Gabe Morency coming up next. We'll see you guys tomorrow. In-game live primetime here on the Grid.